My name is Elijah. I'm not writing this for fame or views. I'm writing this on an old laptop tethered to a power bank because the electricity in the house is gone. They shut it off yesterday. I'm writing to stay awake because when I close my eyes, I can feel it moving in the next room. And it's not a sound anymore. It's a pulsing in the air, the salty taste of fear on my tongue that warns me you are not alone. It is counting your breaths. It started, as these things often do, with something innocent, a child's game. After my father died, I developed anxiety. My mother, Loretta, said I had night terrors, but I don't remember the terrors. I remember the ritual. I would lie awake, trying not to listen to the house settling and groaning. And then I started listening to Mom. Her breathing was a beacon in the dark, a rhythm that held the world together. I learned to differentiate the phases, the slow drift into sleep, the deep stage sleep with its even snores, the shallow pre-dawn breathing. I could tell when she was having a good dream. Her breathing would slow, become soft as silk. It was my secret anchor. Then she was diagnosed with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Her lungs were turning to scar tissue, her breath becoming a struggle. After the transplant, I moved back into the old family house in the backwoods of Vermont to care for her. The house smelled of dust, wood polish, and nostalgia. Her room was the old living room on the first floor, mine the childhood bedroom upstairs. The first nights were filled with the hum of the oxygen concentrator, the hiss of the nebulizer. Her breathing took on a mechanical quality, but the rhythm was there. Inhale, a weak whistle through narrowed bronchi. Exhale, a long, strained sigh. Pause, exactly 4 seconds. I'd lie in bed, listen to this new, sickly rhythm, and still find comfort in it. It was predictable. The changes began on the 4th night. The pause stretched to 10 seconds. I clenched my teeth, listening. The exhale, when it finally came, was deep, unburdened, as if a great weight had been released from her. I chalked it up to the morphine she took for the pain. On the 5th night, the pause reached a full minute. The air in my room grew thick, seemed to strain with me. When the exhale came, it wasn't a human sound. It was a low, wet exhaust, like iron lungs opening in a deep cavern. I went downstairs. She was asleep, her chest nearly still. But I noticed something else. Beneath her thin cotton pajamas, in the gloom, there seemed to be, for a moment, a shadow. Not a depression of her rib cage, but an awkward circular motion, as if something large had turned over inside. The next morning, she complained of a strange dream. I dreamed I was a cave, Eli, a big empty cave with water dripping. And then I heard footsteps deep inside, and they were coming out. She laughed, but her eyes were hollow. I installed a baby monitor, not for her, for me, to prove to myself I was hearing something real. The first night with the monitor was quiet, the second, too. On the 3rd night, as the clock hit 3:17 a.m., the airwaves filled with white noise. And then, beneath it, a sound emerged, a scratch, long, slow, agonizing, like a heavy object being dragged across drywall from the inside. It was followed by a series of short, wet clicks, like jaws opening in the dark, and breathing, but not hers. It was a double breath, one shallow and wheezing, hers, the other deep and resonant, coming from the same place but from a different depth. It inhaled just as she exhaled, creating a horrible breathing perversion. I turned on the light, trembling. The monitor picked up a whisper. Not words, just the muffled sound of air forced through a slit, forming a hissing sibilant.
I didn't sleep until dawn. In the morning, Mom woke exhausted. "My bones ache," she said, clutching her sternum, "like something was pressing on them from the inside all night." I looked at her and saw what I'd missed, a faint, bluish network of veins on her neck, spreading like roots, and her pupils. In the bright morning light, they didn't fully contract. A thin ring of black remained, like a crevice. I started documenting everything. I logged the times, the duration of the pauses, described the sounds. The pauses lengthened with a logical, horrific progression. 4 seconds, 10, a minute, 2, 5. With each lengthening pause, the exhale grew stronger, more greedy. It began to inhale more than air. One night the monitor picked up the sound of my coffee mug on her nightstand, cracking clean in half. It didn't fall, it just split, as if the air had become so rarefied for a moment that the glass couldn't withstand the pressure. The 7th night. Pause, 7 minutes and 7 seconds. The silence was so absolute I heard the ringing in my own ears. And then a thud. Thoom. Muffled, low, like the heart of a giant beating under the earth. It didn't come from the monitor. It came up through the floor, through the soles of my feet, through my bones. The bed shook, thud, thoom, and another. They didn't match her pulse. They were slower, and with each thud, I could see her sternum move under her pajamas. It didn't rise evenly, but on one side, then the other, as if something were testing its confines. I couldn't take it. I burst into her room. She lay there, eyes wide open, full of tears. Her lips trembled. "Eli," she whispered, so faint I barely heard. "It's talking. It says this is its home now, that the lungs are the doorway, and I'm just the foyer." Her gaze grew wild. "Don't count. It hears when you count. It thinks it's an invitation." Suddenly her body arched off the bed, only the back of her head and her heels touching the mattress. Her throat bulged as if she'd swallowed a billiard ball. From her stretched mouth came a voice that was not hers. It was deep, full of gravel and seepage, the voice of the earth itself. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Between the inhale and the exhale lies my world, little man. You gave me your rhythm. Now I will give you mine." She collapsed onto the pillows, breathless. Pause. 10 minutes. 20. I thought it was over. And then an inhale. Not hers. Something inhaled through her. The air in the room swirled. Papers from the desk whirled in a vortex, flying into her open mouth. She sat up. Her eyes were now deep like wells. She smiled. "Go to sleep, son," said my mother's voice, but with a terrible undertow. "You need your rest, too." I retreated. I barricaded myself upstairs. I haven't dared to leave. That was 3 days ago. The power died last night. The monitor is dead. But I don't need it to hear anymore. I hear it in my body. First it was just a chill, not from the air, but from within, from the bones. Then the flutter, a soft rhythmic twitching somewhere beneath my sternum, exactly like I'd seen in her. It happens every few minutes, no more than once every 10 breaths, but it's gradually speeding up. And then there's the count. I can't stop it. Even now, as I type these words, my mind automatically marks the pause between my own inhales. And it's getting longer. It used to be a second between breath in and breath out. Now it's 3, 5. I try to breathe faster, shallower, but it only makes it worse. My body wants these pauses. It craves them. When I hold my breath, the fluttering in my chest subsides, as if satisfied. And then, when I finally exhale, I feel an expansion, not relief, but as if something inside is smiling. It speaks to me now, not through the walls, inside my head, a whisper in time with my own twitching. Tick, you tethered me with the count. Tock, you showed me the way out of her cave of flesh. Now your body is such a warm, soft tunnel. Tick, soon the pause will be longer than the breath. Tock, and then you will be the door, and I will be the breath. My hands are cold. The laptop screen reflects my face. In the dark, behind the glare, I see my own eyes. My pupils, they aren't contracting. They have a slit, a tiny, black, infinitely deep slit. It's right, the pause is getting longer. It's so tempting to just stop, to stop breathing, to let the pause stretch forever. It promises it won't hurt, that it will be like falling asleep. But I know the truth. It's not sleep, it's gestation. I will be the incubator, the doorway, and when it comes out, it will take my breath, my memories, my voice, and it will move on into a world that sleeps and breathes, unaware that between the inhale and the exhale, a whole world exists, and that world is hungry. I'm writing this to warn you. If you have a habit, if you count seconds, if you listen to someone else's breathing in the dark, stop. You're not just counting, you're calling, you're giving it coordinates. Look at your pupils in a mirror in the light. Do they contract fully, or is there a tiny slit left? Do you feel a faint flutter when you hold your breath, the slightest twitch under your breastbone? It's already here. It's always been here. It lives in the pauses, and the pauses, they're everywhere. My pause right now, it's been